you. I'm pushing a button. It
Probably
says
done
push
that
any
first.
button and it's not doing it. Okay, there we go.
We're gonna
How
be
do I
on
put the old
stick.
music on?
It's
Audio.
in options. It's the retro soundtrack in the audio options.
There we go.
Are you saying we're on the stick?
We're on the stick. Hi, we're on the stick.
We're gonna be on the stick.
We're on our crappy office chairs, or I am anyway.
I'm on an IKEA chair, which is even crappier than that, I think.
Mine is from the brick, I want to say. Also, it's broken.
That's
Boss
Anyway.
rush, battle, join online games.
How does one create an online game? Just click on story here?
I don't know. I went to join online games. Let's see. I wanted to see if there was a way to normal. There we go. X create online game. Private. Okay. I think we're still friends on here. No, I don't want Streets of Rage to use my microphone. And we're going to turn the friendly hits
friend.
off because it's like that.
Eric, so judgy.
But if it's a private game... okay, how do I do this here?
I have no idea. I sent you an invite.
I'm going to click this check mark. There's a check mark. I'm connecting to something.
I think
connected to something.
Eric turned off friendly hits because he was playing at the same time Alex and I were playing, and I think he heard us apologizing to each other about 1,000 times and just doesn't want to put up with that tonight.
I understand that.
I want to play one of the new characters, but I don't care very much whether it's Float or
It
Cherry.
was
I
like
guess you
every 30 seconds, I was like, sorry.
Well, if you want to do,
Sorry.
if you want to play Cherry, I don't mind
I haven't
switching.
tried Floyd yet, so I'm willing
Okay.
to. Let's do that.
Cherry's real good. like
Yeah, I think
a lot.
Cherry is the best of the first three that I've tried.
But fucking Adam is where it's at, which is, makes sense because Adam is always where it's at because Adam fucking rules.
Is he
I
one of the
don't
retro sprites?
I don't think
There
I
are
even
retro
know.
Adams, but he's the guy that's grayed out all the way on the right. You rescue him at one point, and then you can play as him after.
I
that.
only played 3 or 4 stages so far, so I haven't rescued
Or you
anybody.
don't rescue him. He just shows up. Actually.
Okay.
It's not a rescue. He just pops in and is like, "Hey, I'm here now."
So Cherry's not far from the concept that I always had in my brain that I would love to see someday, which is someone making a Rush Belt scroller game where you play as Getty and Alex wailing on people with their guitars.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize I wanted that until just now.
Uh-huh.
Are all the levels based on Rush songs?
Of course they are.
Well, the progression would be each album, right?
Think about the costume possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's
At
one.
the end of
There's-
level 3, you fight Baitor and the Snow Dog.
Ooh, this is a little on the laggy side.
Was that?
Does Ayn Rand like pop up on your shoulder to give you guidance and help you along? Point you to go right when you beat up all the people?
I
You know,
see
Joe,
what you
you-
did there.
you-
Go right.
You have to stand on your own 2 feet, you know? You can't...
I want to say it was pretty laggy when Alex and Joe were playing. Also,
I didn't. Alex seemed to notice it a little more than I did. I was playing on I was on Ethernet when I was playing, so I
Who was
didn't.
hosting?
I think you were
I
hosting.
was.
Yeah,
I
so
was
you wouldn't notice it.
I am absolutely on Ether, but it's still real laggy.
And also, Alex.
I mean,
and I
I'm
are,
streaming at the same time, so maybe I
Yeah.
should have had you host. I don't. How do I pick up stuff? There we go.
Alex and I are also like, I think further apart. Even definitely further
Yeah.
apart than you guys are. So.
I mean,
But
Mike,
the
we have to
game
cross an entire border, so
That's true.
It's true, and that border's closed.
And you know how much that slows down light.
That's right.
Okay, is that guy with the yellow jacket, is he also in Final Fight? Because I swear there's a character that looks just like that in Final Fight.
there's a character that looks just like that in Spider-Man: Venom: Maximum Carnage. Also, I think that
was just a
character isn't in
popular
all of these games.
beat 'em up template. Character from. So I saw a thread on Twitter extolling how the ridiculous they were so dedicated to this game that they even got the ridiculous hitbox that those knife guys have correct, even though it's like gigantic and bullshitty.
Wow, my dude
Who's
cannot
beating
jump.
up a duck?
I was say I'm hearing someone's force feedback, someone's
it's-
rumble.
Yeah, it's
It triggers rumble every time you hit anything.
yeah. I can turn that off. I was just thinking about it. Maybe I can't turn it off.
But yeah, I definitely feel like Y signal and G signal are they're inspired by 2P in Final Fight for
Oh,
sure.
you can choose your food items.
You can.
You can. Alex and I kept disagreeing, but it doesn't. Like the host doesn't choose for both of you. Like whatever you each choose is what it'll be. So Alex kept being like, "Oh, you can grab that meat." I was like, "Excuse me, Alex, that's poutine."
I didn't even notice that was an option. I put ramen. Oh yeah, well, certainly could be poutine.
Yep. I
Sorry,
had
poutine.
poutine was
I
my
can't-
big food item, and my little food item was. I don't remember what my little food item was.
I can't turn the rumble off. I'm sorry to say.
Just move your controller away from your microphone.
Oh, onion rings. My little food item was onion rings. And my big food item
That's what
was.
I'm trying to do.
Onion rings.
At one point, I turned the rumble down a lot, but it's still a little bit on.
I kind of just don't ever want rumble anymore. It's kind of where I'm at.
I like rumble in 3D
feel
games
like
a lot.
It really depends on how, like, some of the
Yeah,
Switch
it
3D Rumble stuff is really good.
I just think it's really annoying because the Switch rumble things just like make a weird buzzing noise that I don't like. I think I'm just done with rumble. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, it's not necessary, but sometimes like, the Rumble motors add to the heft of controllers in a way that I find comforting. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, I'm
I like
fine
a
with
Wii
that.
controller for sure.
Like when I play N64 games, for example, I always put my Rumble pack in just because it makes the controller feel better balanced and more substantial. You know, even if it's a game that maybe doesn't even use the Rumble pack, it just feels like. I have an original 6-axis controller because I got my PS3 early enough that like that was still the standard controller.
That just
and
has styrofoam inside.
it feels so light, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
There's nothing to it.
I think
Yeah.
that my first DualShock was the DualShock. I want to say I got the Metal Gear Solid 4 bundle. It was still a fat PS3, but it wasn't the first generation.
yeah. I think that one had the DualShock 3 included by that time.
Almost
I
makes
got-
up for the fact that it also included Metal Gear Solid 4.
You know, I'm an apologist for that game. I think that game's actually pretty good.
I think there's like
you
an
just
hour and a
have to
half good game in
skip-
that 25-hour game.
No, Mike. There's an hour and a half of good game in that because it's only an hour and a half long game. You just have to skip all the cutscenes.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch.
A
things
little
smoking.
girl cooking eggs and
Yeah.
bringing them to Snake and a monkey.
That's like
Arm-
that's one of the good things in that game.
the monkey.
It kind of smooths out a little bit for me. It's getting less laggy over here. I will say
It is
that
quite the
even
substantial pipe.
even if you skip all the cutscenes, I still think the boss fights are mostly trash.
I don't know. I'm one of those fucking weirdos who's dedicated to like non-lethaling everything.
There's
all
a
the
food
bosses
up there if you want it.
to get their shit. You know, in
Right.
Good. Oh.
and I found them not. I mean, they weren't as good as Metal Gear Solid 3's bosses for sure,
But that bar is high.
but that bar is unreasonably high. And
I thought that all the beauties were pretty bad.
I thought that I had enough fun with them. Actually, the worst part of that game is the motorcycle chase. I think that's like by far the worst. Well, and the final boss fight is pretty rancid.
I'd say the worst part of that game is watching it, but
Yeah, but I really think, especially the first area when you're like in the desert and there's like the fighting factions and you can kind of
Yeah,
sneak around
that
and
part
get
is
them to
great.
fight each other and stuff. That's all really good. That's the part where some people didn't like it, but the part where you're following the dude, like that feels like real spycraft in a way that a lot of those kinds of games never really hit on. Of like, you're in this European city and you're following this dude and you have to like stay on him and not get spotted, and you know that I really enjoyed that because it was something different from those games. That said, I still think it's one of the weaker entries in the series overall. I would put it behind, 1, 3, and 5. It's like the opposite Star Trek. The odd ones are good, and the even ones are less good.
Some food up there.
I forgot about
I
this
concur with that.
dang electrical wires.
But for as bad as the BB core may be in that game, they're better boss. Like I love Metal Gear Solid 5. It's one of, if not my favorite games of the current generation. But the boss fights of just fighting those fucking parasite monsters over and over again was shit. It was fucking garbage. The boss fights in that game were utter trash.
You're not
Apparently,
responding.
my game just totally crashed to desktop.
Hey, I can still pause the game and quit. Oh, host has left the game.
That's cool. That happened to me when I was trying to play it the other day too. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna not use that character anymore because I don't think I like him very much.
Is that a Game Pass thing? Maybe.
I don't know. It did it the other day
Should
too.
you- Should you switch?
Mike can host.
Both
Yeah, we can
hosts.
try.
Yeah, I can try that. So I'll go to story and then I can
Yeah, invite.
create an online game.
The stream delay must be really bad because you got up there it goes. I was gonna say you guys are still playing.
It's probably just on the default because it doesn't matter that much for this. But
Yeah.
um,
Well, also, I found it was easier. Like, I had more trouble keeping a steady if I was doing when I was doing 1080p 60 frames per second. It's easier to not drop frames if you're on the normal delay. Like if you try to do the
Yeah.
low latency, it's hard to keep.
I don't know. According to OBS, I'm not dropping frames, so it should be okay. I think.
It doesn't look like you are, doesn't it? I mean,
No.
but,
You're just dropping games.
Yeah, I'm just having the game is just fucking crashing. Input
but,
setup.
I don't know the
Vibration. Oh, there we go. Let's turn the vibration to 0. There we go. That's
Yeah, I should. Let me do that before we start.
apparently you
what the hell
can't
were those,
do it in
what the hell
game.
were
But
those things even called in Metal Gear Solid 5, the bad guys.
I put the
I don't
vibration
know.
at 20%.
I tried 3 or 4 different times to play that game and got through like the first area and then never went back on every single attempt. I didn't like it at all. I think it was very good.
Yeah, I recall you not kind of bouncing off of it. Although, didn't you still still
you go.
played like 15 or 20 hours of it, didn't you? Before you like
Oh,
totally.
wait, which one? 4 or 5? I thought you guys were
5.
talking about 4.
He was talking
Oh, I'm talking
about
about
5.
5.
Sorry, I was talking
I was
about.
gonna say, I thought you.
I played a
actually
ton
were
of.
5.
I didn't get to the second map in 5, but
Right,
5
you
was
were-
okay.
You were enjoying fucking around.
I don't remember any boss. Weren't the ladies from that was from 4, right? You guys were talking
Yeah,
about 4.
That's we were talking about 4, but then I was saying I thought those were better than those weird, fucking parasite zombie things from 5. What the fuck were they called?
I don't remember.
You remember what I'm talking about, though, right?
Maybe.
Did you get the invite?
I don't even remember.
Yes, I think so. 'Cause it says connection was lost.
Let's see.
You need another invite?
Maybe. Try again. Yeah.
The skulls.
It also says that you're offline. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
Yeah, that is intentional. There we go.
Were they really just called the skulls? Because that's.
Well, here you can be
Yeah,
Cherry if you want.
Sky.
I don't mind playing Blaze.
Didn't remember them.
You may want to turn those friendly hits off, or
I
not.
thought I did.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't know.
As I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was annoying as shit.
Yeah, they sucked. They weren't. They weren't good.
Yeah, you did a bunch of those, then you did the quiet.
The quiet
Right.
thing was fun. The quiet thing was good, and the Metal Gear Sahelanthropus fight
Yeah.
was good. But all the
That
other
was
boss
good.
fights were just fighting
Oh, well.
skulls over and over again. And that
Let's see how the
was
other half
not
lives.
good.
Squirrels.
It's
I
fine.
don't think I can turn it off during the session, can I?
I have no idea. That's fine. We just pick a side of the screen and try not to.
Sure. What could go wrong?
I mean, we can punch each other to death.
That's what could go wrong.
It's hard to punch each other to death.
exactly.
It's more likely that you'll accidentally knock each other into a pit or off an elevator or whatever.
There's a little bit of health back there if you want it.
Oh, I was leaving it for you because of that one time that I hit you.
Because that's how Mike rolls.
Yeah, so, Kurt, have you played this at all yet?
No. I've downloaded it, but I haven't played it.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I wasn't
like
gonna-
it.
I actually just figured I would be playing, and then you said it was 2 online. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed when I found that out because I had planned on I was gonna buy it on Steam
that's-
so I could play it with
that's why-
Alex and Joe,
Yeah,
but
if it was 4-player online, I would totally do that.
Ah, jeez, right down the hole. Yeah, well, here's the thing: is it doesn't handle 2 players online all that well. So
yeah.
Maybe 4 is just not possible.
Why is it still running like crap for you?
it's better, I would
Oh.
say, but also I'm hosting
Yeah,
now. So.
It looks fine.
I was gonna say yeah, it's running fine for
Yeah,
me.
it's-
Okay, so maybe it was just the whole stream plus host thing was a bad idea. Yeah, I gotta say, Joe, I think I'm enjoying this more than Rivet City Girls so far.
I mean, you're not the only one from what I've seen. I like the like gain more techniques, you know, kind of as you go, Kunio thing a lot, and I also
Mike does love a shop.
That's true. Mike does love shopping, and this does not have shopping, so
No, I just
Like,
find the fighting is more
principle.
satisfying in this game. I just like the feel better. Like I'm kind of interested. Whereas in River City Girls, it felt really flat to me. It felt really samey, no matter who I was fighting. Like outside of the bosses, let's say. But
yeah, the boss fights are real good in that game, though. I thought. So, if you can get a taser and tase that arcade machine in the back, there's like a bonus stage you can go to.
really,
Hot tips. I don't remember where in this stage the taser comes
There's a
from.
guy right here that has tasers. The cops have tasers.
Cops have tasers, yeah.
there you go. Taser on the ground there. We're
So if you use it on an enemy, it disappears. So you only got one shot with it. So you have to like.
so how do I get
to
up
go to
to
the
arcade?
bonus stage? You have to save it. You know, and then.
Is the arcade machine coming up later, or is it the
Behind
one?
you?
It's
I
right
get- I
there.
get-
You have to go in the
Alright,
door
well,
on
let's
your
try to
right.
get these enemies without event scrolling the screen.
Is there another taser, or where'd it? Oh,
Oh,
there
you
it
picked
is.
it up. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the combat in this is also really satisfying. I like it a lot. I think this game is really good, and I think maybe part of it
can't-
was that I
It's you in the background. How do I hit it?
you have to go in the door. Where
Oh.
the,
Over here on the bathroom side, I think.
yeah, right. Looks kind of like a bathroom. Yeah, you have to go in on that side and go to the left to get over by the
Oh, cool.
machine.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I think part of why I like this so much might be because I really tempered my expectations. I liked, you know, Lizard Cube largely did the art here, and I think that they did a really great
Oh,
job
damn
with
it.
Wonder Boy. But you know, they didn't really develop the game as such, right? They just handled, you know, the art, graphics, you know, backgrounds, which is great.
What are Lizard Cube known for?
The Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap remake.
Oh, those do look very good.
And you know, I didn't like. I've heard that what is it? Streets of Fury, is that the thing Guard Crush did before this? That was like a Mortal Kombat, you know, sort of.
Yeah, like they digitized their buddies and
Yeah, and it's a beat 'em up, and it's supposed to be actually very good, but I had never played. It's been on my Steam wish list for like 2 years, and I just have never pulled the trigger on it. But you know, I think I started getting pretty hopeful for this when I saw they put out a video where they were talking about
got our
like,
help back.
in order to get the controls right, we've been playing our like builds of it while also like simultaneously having the control output go to Streets of Rage 2 and our early builds of this to make sure the controls feel the same and like tweaking them as it goes.
That's really cool.
Make sure it feels the same. And that I think was about the time when I started being like, maybe I think I'm pretty excited for this.
Give these guys a chance.
And then but that wasn't that long ago that they showed that. That was like a fairly recent, you know, little trailer thing that they put out. And then it came out, and I played through the whole thing with Alex in one sitting online a week and a half ago or whatever, and I really like it. I think it's a very good one of these. Definitely worth it. I mean, I bought it on Steam, played through it, really enjoyed it, and then threw down for a physical copy on Switch from Limited Run. So, you know, I bought it twice. That's how much I liked it. So,
I would say the only time that the friendly fire seems to really be an issue is when we're fighting a boss, since we're both in the same spot. I find it's not too hard to manage when we're just fighting mooks. Nice backbreaker. Or was that a backbreaker? What is that? Suplex?
It's like a double
What?
under.
She has the. Why does she have the cool super from Streets of Rage 1?
who?
The boss that we're fighting here, Estelle.
Oh yeah, because she's a cop.
But she called in the super that you use in Streets of Rage 1.
Yeah, because she's a cop. She called in the cop. So, launch a fireball at you.
Alright, let's do with that, Raymond. I will say,
Damn
from
it.
what I've played so far, I find Cherry to be by far the most fun character to play.
I think Blaze is pretty good. I haven't tried any of the other.
Yeah, I haven't tried the new big guy yet. I really hope that at some point you can unlock, or maybe as DLC you can play as. I know that Streets of Rage 2 Max is in here because I think all of the old characters are in here as unlockables. But I like there is new art of Max. I don't like yet. There is a new, like, a newly drawn version of Max in this game, and I think it would be cool to be able to play as him.
How do you do the star attacks again?
Y and B at the same time, I think.
Oh, it's okay.
You guys beat it yet?
No.
They have not beat it. They're fighting Estelle for the first time.
Oh, okay, so they're pretty close.
I don't know how they got the Estelle Getty likeness rights, but
She looks just like Estelle Getty. It's
A
eerie.
young Estelle Getty, but Estelle Getty all the same. Yeah.
So like 62.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, back when in 1934 when she was young. Boy, this sucks.
Maybe you suck. Oh.
I mean, probably. I don't play a lot of these, so I'm not really very good at them. Basically, the only time I ever play any of these games is when I play them with Joe, usually for extra life.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I will say I find the bosses maybe have too much health.
Some of them are damage sponges. It's with the boss, and I wasn't sure if this was just me, but I saw somebody talking about this recently. I felt like the boss difficulty curve was very weird. Like Estelle is like much harder than like the final boss. I thought the first time you like this fight that you guys are doing now is harder than the final.
Right. It's just hard to get away from those bombs.
Harder than the final fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fighting
long
against
time.
Belger also isn't very hard. So
The fighting at Max is like, spoilers, is hella easy. Like, that dude's easy as fuck. Like, yeah. And
Yeah,
he's
some
like,
of the later
he's like
bosses
stage
are-
like 9, I think. It's like, huh.
Shut it. You broke the law.
I'm unlocked.
Break it.
well, now you can play as Adam. Adam's dope, but Adam's always dope. So you know.
Well, we can't change characters apparently, so
I think you can if you continue.
If you continue, you definitely can.
this game is still
Yeah,
over
you
top.
can in between stages, I feel like usually, but they give you added that cutscene plays after you've already done it for the stage, so you have to wait until stage 6 before you can actually
Cool.
switch it
I
up.
will say I started playing with Axel and Blaze, and then I tried playing as Cherry, and I double tapped and I started running, and I was like, wait, was there a run this whole time and I just didn't use it?
No.
Nope.
Only she can do it, which is why she's the best character.
Yeah, seriously, why can't the other
Much
characters?
like because it's the same thing as with Skate in Streets of Rage 2. He was the only one who could run. I mean, they all have like a dash attack, but it's just not.
It's not
I
a,
don't know, man. I
it's not
think,
a
I think
run.
being able to move across the screen fast is one of those quality of life things that every character needs to have at least a little bit of.
I don't agree, but that's okay.
Well, Mike, you should play Streets of Rage 3 because all of the characters have a dash attack in Streets of Rage 3, or a dash, like a full run, not just a dash attack. I should say.
Yeah, I'd prefer it, but I don't think it's a. It's not really a killer for me.
deal breaker?
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a game breaker. I don't think.
I think it would annoy me less if nobody could do it. But the fact that there's like one character that can is like,
Yeah, like, what's the deal? She just feels like she comes from a more modern game, kind of.
yeah.
It's just the entire game is built around like not having that, and she's
So why'd
the
they
one
give it to
where
her?
because she's the fast character, so she's the one character who can do that,
Same reason they gave it to Skate in Streets of Rage 2.
right?
Oh, look inside the speaker.
Is Skate in
Why
here?
is Floyd hella slow? Because he's the slow guy. It's like that's
I'm-
why.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm pretty sure all of the old characters from the first 3 games can be unlocked. Like I'm almost positive that all of them are in
Poisson.
here.
Damn it.
I will say it's great that they're trying to be faithful to the original game, but that weird way these knife guys animate is kind of ridiculous. They didn't need to keep doing that.
They even got the shitty hitbox right though, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank God.
Appreciating that right now. Is that Shinobi in the background here?
Definitely
Yes.
Joe Musashi in the background. Yes.
This could be any ninja, really.
No, no, it could not.
Joe Shinobi.
So, did you guys see the hot new Unreal 5 engine stuff that came
I
out
did.
today?
It looked
Yeah.
really good, and I expect video games will look like that in about 8 years.
I mean, I didn't honestly like. I guess I wasn't watching it super closely because it was on while I was working, so I just kind of had it on in the background. But like, I didn't think it looked. I didn't watch it in 4K or anything, but like, I wasn't like, oh, that looks like way over and above what current really good-looking video games look like now.
The background detail in the cave at the beginning with all like the drippy stalactites, I thought was pretty incredible.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is that like when we get new consoles and stuff, it's not really the graphics are. I mean, that's fine, that's nice, but it's more about like what kind of things can we do with AI and having lots of things going on at the same time and whatever. Like that's all the stuff that's way more exciting. That's why it's so exciting that consoles have 8 cores now, and the CPUs are so much better than the previous ones.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they both have good hard drives. I'm curious to see what kind of changes that bring. But you won't see those until they leave behind the older systems, I don't think. All those games that are going to be cross-gen compatible won't be able to really take advantage of the
slice of pizza there if you want it.
The what?
I said there's a slice of pizza there if you want it. I mean, I don't think that I don't believe that the changing of the load time stuff is going to actually, like, it'll be nice when you can have it, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a game changer. I don't know.
You know what? I was going to talk about this anyways, but I spent quite a bit of time over the last week trying to beat the final Nemesis fight on the second to the top difficulty in Resident Evil 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a real true motherfucker on that. Like, it's funny because he's the easiest fight in the game on the normal difficulty. Like, he doesn't do anything. He barely attacks. He basically just sits there and lets you kill him. Like most final Resident Evil bosses. Yes, it's the one where you have the railgun. On final on Inferno, or sorry, on Nightmare, which is it's standard hardcore Nightmare Inferno. I was playing on Nightmare.
Yes,
I don't play a lot of Souls games, but I definitely saw people comparing it to a Souls fight, like a Souls type boss fight.
As someone who does play a lot of Souls games, man, shut the fuck up, internet. Okay, please continue.
Right.
You can just say it's hard. Like, fuck, man.
I mean,
No, those are the only games that are hard, are those Dark Souls games.
Well, so I haven't played a lot of Souls games, so I'll just explain to you how the fight, like how I finally did it and how the fight works, and you tell me if it's a reasonable comparison or not. So basically, here's the deal. He constantly attacks, and the only way to deal with his attacks is to do the perfect dodge. Like, you have to dodge everything he does, because if you get hit, either the first hit will knock you down long enough to combo you with a second hit, which will kill you, or the first hit will just kill you outright. And so it turns into a series of perfect dodges, and then like attacking during the openings that you get from doing the perfect dodges. And like, basically one mistake means like the fight is over and you're starting like again.
It doesn't sound like any Dark Souls fight I can think of except for a Bed of Chaos.
I think in a very general, extremely general way, that does sound like a Dark Souls fight, but only in a very general way.
I guess. I don't know.
Dark Souls actually sounds easier than what you're describing.
Sounds like a bad Dark Souls boss.
I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
Bed of Chaos.
It was super frustrating.
Bed of Chaos.
I mean, it wasn't so frustrating that I should say that I'm like, by the time you get to that point, you have a bunch of like bonus items that could make the fight easier, but I was just like stubbornly determined to do it without any of the bonus items. Like, I wanted to do it like a straight playthrough.
As if you had used up all your cool stuff earlier in the game and you were just...
Well, I mean, all the stuff that I had, like, I didn't... so, like, I used my Magnum, I used my shotgun, I used the burst fire pistol, but I didn't use any of the... so there's a thing called the STARS manual in the RE3 remake, which is like... It's supposed to be this, like, book of techniques that's written by Chris Redfield, and it does things like... It makes the window for the perfect dodge wider than it normally would be. is like the main thing that it
It's
does.
like a bay window at that point.
Kind of. Well, let's not go overboard.
Like
but
a Michael Bay window. The entire wall.
it goes from a porthole
So
to like
it's
a
way
normal
too close
sized
and you
window.
can't figure out what the fuck you're seeing.
Yeah, right.
But is that a permanent boost or is that just for like a little?
As long
while?
as you have it in your inventory.
Okay.
So if you put it back in the item box, it stops working. But if you have it on you, then the quick dodge becomes easier. And then there's stuff like there are coins that you can get that like raise your stats, either the amount of damage you do or the amount of damage you take. They lower the amount of damage you take, or there's ones that will slowly raise your health over time as long as you don't get hit. Those are kind of useless because he does so much damage in one shot that like there's no point in using those. But and then like I have the infinite rocket launcher, which makes the fight much easier because basically every cycle he has 8 weak points on him, and you have to burst all the weak points. Surprisingly, not eyeballs, believe it or not. But you have to,
They are giant red pulsating pustules, though.
They are, yes, they are
Right.
giant.
That many
pulsating
times.
pustules.
Oh, I got a few of those.
3 times. So 3 times 8 pustules, and then he falls down, and then you like recharge the railgun by plugging in the power supplies that are cooling down because the railgun uses so much power. So you have to do
Sure.
that.
Oh, you can change players. You want to try different?
You have to do that 3 times, or there's actually a way to 2 cycle it if you're
don't
really
know.
Adam, if you
fast.
want to pick Cherry, otherwise I'll just stick with Cherry.
It's up to you.
I'll try Adam.
All right, then I'll switch to cherry then.
But
I missed
You
my
know.
chance to turn off the.
The rumble. I don't hear it from you. Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Even 20% rumble was too much.
Forget it, Mike. It's Chinatown.
I already have.
that's right. This level's really good, actually.
Oh, so
This
okay, so you can do
level-
like a little dash forward.
Yeah, you get
Okay,
you get a
I'm
short
liking
dash,
this.
but not a run.
I'm gonna go
But,
with he's a Shoto.
you know,
But he's got
so-
some double moves too.
So that took me several like an hour or 2 at least a day for like
Oh,
4
sorry,
or 5
shit.
days to beat that boss.
An hour or 2 a day. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like fighting a Dark Souls boss.
I just said that sounds like when I finally beat Nightmare King Grim.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to some of the. I did not do the Nightmare King Grim fight, so but I did like I'm trying to think of the one that there was one in Hollow Knight that I had a really hard time with. The dream version of I think it's the guy with all like the weird glowy pustules on his head.
Yeah, that would be the Lost Kin.
Yeah, the dream version of that fight was a son of a bitch. I had a
Yeah,
real
that
hard
fight is
time with that
super
one.
hard, and you can completely trivialize it by just putting on one charm.
Which charm?
The Defender's Crest, it puts like a little aura of stink around you.
Oh yeah, right.
'Cause
Oh,
what's
then you
hard
won't.
about that fight is that he's accompanied by these little glowy blob guys that make it
Right.
basically impossible to heal.
Yeah.
By putting on the Defender's Crest, you can heal, and then that fight becomes
Nope.
like super doable.
Huh.
But I did it the first time without that, and it was really hard.
The other one that I had a problem with, what's the one, what's the giant thing that you have to fight where cloth comes and helps you?
The Trader Lord, the big
Yeah,
mantis.
yeah. And apparently there's
really
a
hard.
way that you can do it and cloth doesn't show up to help you. And I was like, I can't even imagine trying to do this fight without cloth, like distracting him and doing extra damage.
Man,
I don't feel like
Bad.
her contribution makes that much of a difference to the fight, but
I mean, maybe it doesn't because I didn't do it without her to compare, but I remember being like, I kind of cheesed that one. I'm trying to remember which.
that's a hard fight to cheese. There's not really any safe.
There's no way that you can like kind of stick to the wall and sort of in the corner and there's a badge that gives you like little attacky guys, right? That kind of like do damage on your
the grub
behalf.
song or whatever.
Like,
it is.
yeah,
You just
yes.
Throw out a whole bunch of
You throw in a bunch of
Ooh.
grub and just like hang out in the corner, basically.
Did I play this game? I don't remember any. Like, I don't know what the hell
probably
you guys are
didn't do
talking
that
Yeah,
about.
part, Eric.
I'm.
'Cause
I
you
also-
didn't get the complete
There's some
ending for Hollow
pizza down here.
Knight? Too late. I died.
I think I remember the boss you're talking about. Was he like in the sewers and you just throw the grubs at him and he dies in like a second?
That's the Fluke Marm. That's.
That's yeah, no, that's yeah,
Okay.
That's
But
the
no, the Trader Lord is like a giant praying mantis, and he's very hard. He's one of the harder bosses.
and he moves around a lot. Not like the
He also
flute
does
part
double
that sits in
damage.
the
I know
middle,
I
this
fought
thing
him.
does. Yeah, it's.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, that
like-
guy. He's fine. Whatever. You guys are scrubs.
whatever. So
I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember
I
why
don't know
did we
what you're
start.
talking
Why
about.
did I start talking about the Resident Evil 3? Somebody brought up something that led me to
I
start
don't know.
talking about the Resident Evil 3 boss.
Because it's
fight.
just on your mind all the time.
I don't know, but having to be perfect all the time and like one hit kills does not sound like Dark Souls to me.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's pretty much how.
I don't know if you like New Game Plussed a bunch of times, maybe, or
Yeah.
we're
When I
trying to
think of
do
Dark
like a
Souls
low
fight, I think
level
you have to
run
learn
or
the
something.
enemy patterns and you have to make every move you make matter, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
not about
that's-
being perfect, but it's about thinking every time you take a swing.
Right, or not taking unnecessary movements and being punished if you do. Like
Yeah.
that stuff's Dark Souls.
You have to be deliberate. You have to.
That's why I was like in an extremely general way it is. It's like because you need to see when he's attacking and time your dodge. Like that is in a very general way. But in a like, oh, but if you fuck up, you die. It's like, well, no. Like,
Fume Knight is a little like that in Dark
a
Souls
few
2.
a few bosses have instant
Yeah.
kill things, and a few bosses have things that hurt a lot. So it's like, but you know,
I mean,
in general-
there's a couple of things where like if you take if you dodge every hit except the last hit of the combo, you'll
Yeah.
just go to you'll go to red and you can use a recovery item. But like a lot of it is like if you get hit by the second hit of the combo, the third hit comes out immediately and you're just fucking dead. And then he does have like one or two attacks that are like literal one shot instant kills.
Yeah.
So, but I can't. We were talking about the Unreal 5 stuff, and I feel like that's what dovetailed
ping pong.
We'll
into
see.
I got a
the
super attack. What was this do?
discussion about the hard boss in Resident Evil 3, but I can't remember.
the whole thing about Unreal, my official stance on Unreal 5 is, all right.
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
we'll
pretty
see.
much.
We'll
That's
see what
every game's
happens.
gonna look like in 2 years, basically, right? Because everyone's
looks
gonna use Unreal
cool.
5 for everything.
I feel like
Everybody's gonna use Unreal 5 forever. I don't know why people are excited. You know what I mean? It's like people are like, "Oh man, finally, graphics are gonna be better." It's like, yeah, we knew. Like, did you not think that
we
was
did
gonna
the
happen?
exact same
Like,
thing happened when we did Unreal 4 when the last consoles
Yeah.
came out. It's just
I
I
think-
mean the exciting things about new Unreal tech is usually like it gets easier to use, and like they did a whole new licensing thing when 4 came out that made it a lot easier for smaller developers to get their hands on it
Yeah.
and make use of it. And like that stuff is way more exciting, and I don't know if they said anything about any of that sort of stuff like
I feel
with
like they
this
did,
one,
but I don't remember what they
This is the
said.
same dude on the screen right now.
So
I
The
think
game out of memory.
it's. I mean, visually, we've just hit diminishing returns in such a way that
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the ray tracing stuff, especially in Control, like that stuff looks fucking amazing. Like that stuff is so much better than any lighting models that we had in previous games. I mean, yeah, that's true, but like no matter how good your art is, you couldn't make a game that looks like Control in 1999. So
No, I'm just saying you
No,
can throw ray
but-
tracing at a lot of mediocre games and it's not going to make them look great. I don't think. Oh, I love play.
I
fair,
mean, you need art direction as well.
no matter what. Yeah.
Control looks phenomenal even without the ray tracing. It just looks
Right,
phenomenal.
Oh, but it
what
looks
I was-
it looks so much better with ray tracing though.
I mean, I don't know.
It looked so good while I was playing it that I stopped at a whole bunch of different spots to be like, "Holy shit! Look at this amazing looking game!" And I didn't even have that. So
Okay.
I mean, I watched
better.
you play it on stream, Eric, with the ray tracing and whatever, and
Looks
I
a lot
played it
better.
myself on a base model PS4, and I did not.
Well,
I didn't feel like watching.
some
you play
people
it on-
don't have a good eye for appreciating nice looking art, I guess. I don't know.
Right. So,
Some people are like, I don't see the difference between DVD and Blu-ray. That's like a not uncommon opinion.
Right. A lot of
Like,
people leave
still-
the auto smoothing on their TVs. What can you say? Yeah.
I will say, as someone who last year got a really fancy 4K TV,
There's a bunch of pizza up there.
I don't think there's much difference between 1080 and 4K.
I actually agree with that.
I mean, there is.
I mean, it depends on how close you're sitting to it.
depends on how,
it's-
and how
right.
big the screen is.
Right.
and
I
how
sit pretty close to my TV.
You know, and it also depends on like the quality of the master that you're watching.
Right.
Sure.
Like, you know.
But like, what I appreciate, the HDR colors are pretty cool, and just the general quality of the screen is nice. But the difference between 4K and not 4K is subtle.
Yeah, I think like better black levels and stuff like that make a much bigger difference for overall image quality than like the difference between those two specific resolutions. But
And actually, So we talked about consoles and whether, who's interested in getting them or not. And because of where my computer's at, I've been wondering if I'm going to eventually wind up getting one of these new consoles. And one of the reasons why I might also is because the consoles are almost certainly going to handle HDR better than computers do right now.
Maybe. Yeah, those new RTX cards, the 3000 series ones are looking pretty they're making me feel like I really fucked up. I mean, I knew it was kind of a mistake to be like first one in on that stuff, but my 970 just wasn't cutting it, so I was like, fuck it. But
why do you think that the new ones are going to be so great? Just like price
I mean,
performance?
well, like what people like the leaks that are coming out on that stuff is like the 3060 is like better than a 2080 Ti, especially in how it handles, not necessarily in how it handles like high resolution stuff, but how it does like the ray tracing stuff and a lot of that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see.
So less of a hit to frame rate to do ray tracing, basically.
It's a huge hit to it right now, but
but
with those new ones will not have that kind of stuff. So I don't know. We'll see, but I mean,
oh, there's two of them.
Like if you can get rough equivalent to what I have with this 2080 for like $300, which is about what a 2060 costs, assuming they cost about the same thing. I think I don't know. Man, I'm gonna die. Let's get some health here.
I don't know. We lost a lot of health during this level.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really sloppy.
Rolled in with no extra lives and like half health.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna end up with one of those new cards anyway. Does anybody want to buy a 2080 for cheap?
$300?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, the problem that I have is that I would probably need to rebuild my PC if I want. I don't know that I could run 4K games on the processor that I have at this point.
Yeah, I definitely need to do.
If I'm not making the upgrade to 4K, then why am I bothering to upgrade? Basically, because I can still play games in 1080 pretty well.
Yeah,
right, but I mean, like those PlayStation and Xbox probably aren't going to run most games natively at 4K at 60 frames a second either.
I think I manage 1440 upscale. That'll probably be good enough for me.
Right. Well, that's like I said. Like the most exciting thing about like some of the newer stuff in Control was like that DLSS AI upscaling stuff was really impressive.
Turning off friendly hits. I like Adam, but I'm happy with Cherry, so your choice.
All right, let me try Adam. We'll flip flop and forget who's who. But like that, like at that point, like with that turned on with Control, I had ray tracing turned all the way up and everything at max, and it was like like scaling it up, and the frame rate was still like 100, and like that was really incredible. And so the idea that maybe like if you can scale that to work well with cheaper graphics cards in the future, like that's pretty exciting.
But is that a graphics card thing or like a programming thing?
It's both. Like it's one of those things that like it's probably only going to be supported by NVIDIA cards because it's a software thing that they have, and it will have to be implemented probably on a per game basis. Although maybe not. I don't know. I don't know that much about it honestly, but I just like pretty impressed by that. Because it's just like an upscaler, which you could buy one of those for your TV if you want. Like that's how all those retro game stuff works, right? But
pretty big blanket term there, but
well, some of the ones now are like the OSSC is not technically a scaler; it's a line doubler.
Right.
But
like just to have that like in your PC without having to buy a special piece of hardware or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm curious to see. I don't imagine I'd buy one of these consoles this year because I don't think there's going to be much to play on them.
I
cannot
if they even come out this year at this point, like who the hell knows?
Yeah, I mean, Mike and I were talking via text, and I just like if they do come out this year, Sony would have to unload such a huge slate of games that they haven't even mentioned exist yet for me to be like, oh, I'll get one of those at launch. Like I just don't.
But your computer is pretty recent. What's your graphics card, Joe?
He's got a 2070, I think. Or a 1070. That's a 1070, I think.
Yeah, well, the 1070 is the one good step up from what I've got, and I think your processor is more recent and stuff. Because my computer that does
definitely more recent.
my computer that does the hardcore gaming in the living room is running on like a 7-year-old processor, and it was really good at the time, so it still does an okay job. But
So it's an i7 8700 clocked at 3.2 gigahertz, with 16 gigs of DDR RAM.
Yeah, I mean,
for all that,
that's the thing is that like this stuff is all fine, but all that matters is how good the games are ultimately.
Right,
Like,
that's the
Yeah.
thing.
they're going to be the same games, right? I think for almost every game you
Yeah.
get on these consoles is going to be a game that you can already get for your PC.
I mean, that's like
So-
one of the things that Microsoft was pushing most in that recent press conference that they did was like I forget what they're calling it, but the program basically where you buy the Xbox One version and you can just get the Xbox
Smart delivery.
right smart delivery. Yeah,
Is that
that's
really
right.
what they're calling it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is I mean it's fine, it's whatever, but it's just like
it's a great idea. I love the
yeah.
idea.
I mean, it's what we've been doing on PCs for fucking ever. Like you buy a new PC and install a game from 5 years ago, and then go, oh wow, that looks a lot better because it's all this whatever. You got more juice in your system, so you can have longer. You can have a better draw distance without fucking up your frame rate and all
I
like
played
whatever.
Psychonauts on my PC, and
I can turn.
the game was running at 1080, and the cutscenes were all at like not even 720. I think 480p.
Yeah, right. I can turn my I can turn shadows on and run at a stable frame rate, which I couldn't.
Transparent water.
What? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there,
That's
bud.
crazy.
But
I mean, slice of pizza, I guess.
like one of the first things I did when I upgraded my PC was run The Witcher 3 again and see what it looked like.
Ah, we got lots of that food. Damn, there's stuff in the jars. Bust up those jars and get some food.
Yes, I thought Eric was right, but I did double check. It is a 1070 GeForce GTX 1070.
But yeah, so in my case, I mean, I have access to all the games. I just want better hardware, and the console may be the kind of most efficient way for me to get that.
I mean, I think
So
that
then-
like I don't know, with the time scale that you're talking about, like being like
Well,
probably
between
potentially
this fall
2
and fall
years from a year or two from now, like it's hard to say.
I mean, what's for sure is that if I want to beat that, I'm going to have to build a new computer.
Yeah.
Well,
Starting from the
I mean, the reason I buy consoles is mostly because so I can play games that are on them that are not
Right.
available,
Yes.
you know?
Hi, same.
Yep.
That's why I have a
So-
PlayStation 4, and I kind of regretted it, and then I played Final Fantasy 7. Like, oh no, this is totally worth it now.
You haven't finished Bloodborne.
I haven't.
Yeah,
I've not touched Bloodborne since.
Oh, I thought you started. Oh, okay. You did.
No, I did. I played it on stream that one night. Remember?
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. I
No,
haven't played
I
it
don't,
since.
because it's been a while.
Weird.
But I mean,
Anyway.
that's what I was saying to Mike. Like, if suddenly Sony was like, we're gonna send out, it's gonna be a fucking Dreamcast level launch lineup with like a new Spider-Man from Incognito and a new fucking.
It's not- that's-
Uncharted something.
Listen,
and-
Joe, I got bad news.
Right. No. You have reasonable news, which is like that's not gonna happen.
Right.
So-
Even if there was some slim chance that might have happened, that's definitely not going to happen now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I mean, that's not you. I mean, if I haven't bought a console at launch since the Wii, which actually had a pretty fucking sick launch lineup. And like, you know, I just don't. At this point in my life, I don't know that I ever see myself buying.
What was on the
A
Wii,
Switch.
Ash?
You didn't even get a Switch at launch.
No,
I
I
also
didn't get a
think-
Switch until
I
Mario
think-
Odyssey came out.
I think Switch was maybe the only console that I've ever bought at launch.
I bought a Super Nintendo when they were very new, but I don't know if it would qualify as at launch. But
I mean, there were. I sat outside of Best Buy.
Oh, you
overnight
fucking-
to get a PS2. And I got a Dreamcast at launch, and those might be.
But like, so the Dreamcast and the Switch kind of were in the same situation, that they had great launch lineups because they were basically front loaded, right? The Dreamcast had the Japanese games, and the Switch had Wii U games.
Well, the Switch had Zelda,
The
which
Switch had Zelda,
had
which is
Zelda.
also what we had. The Wii also had Zelda,
Right.
which is part of why.
I mean that was the GameCube Zelda, but
Well,
Oh, right. I forgot about.
I mean, the Switch one was the Wii U Zelda, so like, you know,
I guess.
like, That's why I didn't get a Switch at launch, because I was one of the 10 people who had a Wii U. So I just played.
There's a lot of
Right.
people that
Breath
did
of
it
the
that way.
Wild on Wii
I had a Wii U. Played Mario. I
Yeah,
bought it for
you-
Mario Maker, and I played a bunch of Mario Maker, and I got to play that Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and
and Mario 3D Worlds, which is super good.
Which is finally coming to the Switch soon. Looking forward to that.
Does that confirmed, or is that still just a rumor?
I guess it's still a rumor, but I think it's a pretty solid rumor.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy it and play through it again on Switch for sure. That's the real.
Why wouldn't they bring
I'm
it
way
to Switch?
more excited about the potential of Mario Galaxies coming to Switch.
Yes, I would also play. I mean, they're talking about it being some sort of collection, and whatever it is, I'll buy it and probably play through all those games again because they're all really good.
Yeah.
But I'm actually I kind of want to get Mario Maker 2 now, because there you can make whole worlds and like full 8-world games in Mario Maker.
It goes hot since you can find some food.
But yeah, I don't know. Buying a console at launch these days feels like a sucker's game, and it kind of always has been. But like we were saying, like the Dreamcast. I mean, the Dreamcast had like 20-ish games at launch, and like a lot of them were pretty.
Did it have Soul Calibur at launch?
Soul Calibur,
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure, Power Stone. Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch
that
of
meat.
really good stuff, you know. And then shortly there, I mean, that's also because the system launched in Japan like a full fucking year before it hit the United States. So there was, this, like you said, Mike, this big well of games that were already there, as opposed to the Saturn. I just did a video that's going up on Friday on the YouTube channel that's about the Saturn. It's not about the Saturn launch, but it spins off from discussing the Saturn launch. And man, the Saturn launch was fucking. I still can't believe anybody thought that was a good idea. Holy shit! What a
Did they
fucking
have the Saturn launch?
The Saturn launch was.
They had
shit.
Daytona?
It had, yeah, what was it? Daytona, Worldwide Soccer, Panzer Dragoon, Virtua Fighter was the pack-in, and
Well, not Virtual Fighter 2.
Right.
Virtua Fighter 1.
Virtua Fighter 1. And not Remix, this like the shitty Saturn port of Virtua Fighter 1.
Is the Saturn port really bad at Virtual Fighter 1?
Most people, well, so I would
Oh,
say,
seriously?
I would say you should subscribe to the Same Name Different Game YouTube channel if you haven't already, if you want to know more about that port of Virtua Fighter sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, hypothetically. But a lot of people would say that the 32X port of Virtua Fighter is better than the Saturn port. So
Damn.
Wait, isn't it? Oh no, I was thinking of the straight Genesis port, which is this weird like 2D version.
that is the port of Virtua Fighter 2,
Oh,
and yeah, that is not a good port at all. But yeah, the Saturn. I mean, the Saturn. The thing about the Saturn 2, on top of that, was there were only 5 games for like it was like months before a 6th game even came out for the fucking thing.
what was the fabled 6th game?
Jeez, it was like
You happy with your character, Eric?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't think I can change now, anyways, can I?
I can make it so we can change if you want.
Oh, no, it's fine. We didn't get anything new, so. Maybe I'll go back to Blaze, actually.
You can have a Cherry if you want, because I like Adam also.
the fabled 6th game. Let's see here. So, sorry, Virtua Fighter was the pack-in, Clockwork Knight, Daytona, Panzer Dragoon, Worldwide Soccer, and then it looks like either Bug or Pebble Beach Golf Links was the
Hell
fabled
yeah.
6th game.
Whoop.
Oh. Okay, at the jump when that happens. They needed to be clear on that button prompt.
It said up, so.
But it said, what? So by the time it said up, the thing was on the screen, right?
Yeah.
It was more just like, hey, there's a warning, something's coming, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do when it arrived.
Jump up.
You might as well.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Ann.
boy.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just don't. I mean, Sony would have to really haul out the big guns. Like if they were like Resident Evil 8 is a PlayStation exclusive and it's coming at launch, then I guess I would be like, okay.
Nothing is coming at launch, right? That's a fact. Nothing that anyone cares about is coming at launch.
Oh, crazy. Sorry.
I mean, I feel like they haven't even like the thing that they showed during that Unreal 5 demo today is apparently a PS5 game, but like I feel like I haven't even heard of like a game.
That's an actual game. I thought that was like a tech demo.
Hey, that weird wall penis game is coming to Xbox, so
Finally.
So I shouldn't buy one. Is what
drippy
you're saying.
wall penises.
Ball penis or
I'm in favor of a good wall penis from now and again.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's very convenient to have one, but if you don't own your own house, you're not going to get that installed.
You don't have your own penis. It's weird.
So not only am I going to get it installed, but I'm going to charge the landlord for it.
My
as an
house just
improvement
comes
to
with
the house.
a hole in the wall. And
Provide your own
provide
penis.
You provide your own. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
This sucks.
Eric, we gotta play Apex. This shit is crazy.
I played a bunch of it earlier.
Oh, okay, good. Did you see Mirage's new ult? Holy
It's
fuck.
good, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
oh,
I don't have the reflexes for this.
no.
But like, I mean, am I just forgetting, or I haven't been paying super close attention to the news cycle? Like, are there PS5 games that have been announced as existing? Or
I don't know. I mean, there's been a bunch of like what's it is going to be there.
There's that one that looked like a really generic God Valhalla kind of thing.
Can we pick those up and throw them back at her?
Are you talking about the new Assassin's Creed, Mike?
No, there was some game. It was the first one that had like PlayStation 5 listed at the end of the trailer, and it looked hyper generic, and I can't remember what it's called, but it had this
Talking
vaguely
about
like.
that, like Ghosts of whatever game?
Tsushima?
Tsushima,
That's
that
a
game
PlayStation
looks
4 game.
That's a PS4 game, I thought.
I thought it
Yeah.
was too, but I was like, maybe they changed it.
It's gonna be on
It's
both.
coming out in like a month and a half.
Yeah, let's say.
Oh,
completely
alright.
The game
I
in
haven't
question
paid
is so
attention to
bland I
that.
can't even play what kind of game it is. It reminds me of not Darkstalkers, the one where you play as War, Darksiders.
God of War, yeah. That's like God of War. I'm like, wait, that's not it. You play as War in the first one.
You eventually play as War in the God of War series, don't you?
I mean,
It's Ares.
No, but
No, you don't play
you?
as Ares. You play as Kratos.
Topic
You
of
take
War.
over Ares'
Takes over
position
from
as
Ares,
the
yeah.
God of War. Yes. After you kill him.
Didn't you kill me in the
Every
first
other
game?
god in the Greek pantheon.
Right. Yes,
Remember when you rip Hermes in half? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
The first couple of
He
those
knows
were
what he did.
pretty good, and the third, or not the third one, the most recent one was okay, I guess. I feel like
I don't
a lot of
know.
people liked
You
it a
didn't
lot.
like it?
I
Ian?
loved it.
A lot of people were giving it Game of the Year. I didn't really play too much of it, but
Loved it.
I've never really like gotten why people like those games.
I mean,
Well, it's because you're a dad in this one.
they're
Oh,
boy.
I mean,
like, they're
God of
good,
War
but,
2
like,
is
I
one of the
just
best
don't-
PlayStation 2 games. Like that game is hella fun.
Yeah, God of War 2 is pretty
Yep.
good. Pretty good.
I think God of War is maybe the first time where like I became aware of what an edgelord was. You know what I mean?
that was the first time, huh?
I think so.
I think looking back on the original God of War, that game had an incredible first stage, and the rest of it was kind of a chore.
Yeah.
I
Two
liked
is
it,
the
I
good one.
remember- Yeah,
Was
I
that?
remember feeling like one didn't have enough like good boss fights. It had like
It had
that
one
part
really good boss
problem.
fight in the first stage.
Yeah, the first stage. Yeah.
Right. 2 has you ripping that Gorgon's eye out, I think, right? Or whatever that
Yep.
big guy.
His
You
eyes
climb
open.
up that giant dude.
Yep. You have to climb. The climb out of hell is in the first one, right?
I think I remember hell being a real pain in the ass in that
Climb
game.
out of hell in the first one, and it's garbage. And David Jaffe admitted it was garbage.
Okay, good. It's like one of the few things I remember about the
He's
first
like,
one.
yeah, we just ran out of time and
Oh, right.
ideas
One
and
barrel.
energy.
Oh, Jesus Christ,
Slapped
that
the
hurt.
thing out there, and it was sucked. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, at least he admitted it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can't think of a game that I've seen advertised for PS5 yet, and and again, it's coming so soon that I'm just like, I can't imagine they'll put something out there that will make me.
I figured out. Oh man, now I
Wait,
forgot.
The new Assassin's Creed is actually advertised for Xbox Series.
Oh
X.
man, this game has a golden turkey as a weapon.
Yeah, you can't eat it, but you sure can hit people with it, I guess.
Can't beat the shit
If
out of
they
people.
announce like Bloodborne 2 as a launch title, I will like.
It's not gonna. It's. There's no way, man. There are no
know.
launch titles.
I know that. I know that. I'm just saying if they somehow do that, if they pull that out of their ass somehow, like yeah, I would go fucking bananas. Like
I mean,
that's
the
why.
only one.
I mean, those guys, they're working on something else anyways, right? They're working on that
They are,
George
yeah.
R. R. Martin game, right?
Yeah, Elden Ring. Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Oh shit. I'm sorry, Mike.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Sheriff, you
And
remember
they haven't
the
really
sheriff?
said a lot about much about it.
Yeah, right. They just like announced it at E3 last year, and that was pretty much it, right? It was
Yeah.
just like Dark Souls from George R.R. Martin, and people were like, "Oh man,
I don't know. That might be okay. Who knows?
yeah, that could be good, I guess. I don't know." But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So, how did you feel when you tried Bloodborne, Eric? You
It's
played a little
good.
bit of it.
It's really good.
Hook you, or?
I mean, obviously it didn't hook me because I stopped playing it, but
That game's fucking amazing.
that's fine. I don't know. Like I said, I just didn't play enough of it. But like I did that stream, right? And then Doom came out, and then Resident Evil 3 came out, and then Final Fantasy 7 came out, and so it was just like it just kind of got lost at the shuffle.
Christ.
All these grenades.
And then this came out, and
Yeah. I mean, I played this for like a half an hour one night. I've been playing a ton. I've been playing a ton of Apex lately, also. So
I played 10 hours of Bloodstained this week.
cool. That's a
you're
good
trying
game.
to complete it so you can play the new modes.
Well, officially that is why, and then it's in actual fact it's because I started playing that game. I was like, oh yeah, this game's super fun, and I just like to play it.
I would be really sad if I had to play through the beginning of that game again.
No, it's fine, man. There's all sorts of good stuff you can get.
The beginning is like, yeah, the beginning's fine, but it's like that game really gets cool at the like midpoint.
It's stupid and ridiculous all the time, which is why I enjoy it no matter what I've got.
I don't know. I think it's kind of
It's not the same thing as the Souls games, the Dawn of Sorrow and Area of Sorrow games, is that there's so many abilities in the game that I just take it as like, oh, I'll pick up whatever I get this time, and this run will be different than the last one, because this time I got this drop instead of another one.
yeah. I just like the art and stuff in the beginning. Of the game's very like generic.
Oh, it's ugly as hell. It's
Yeah.
such an ugly game.
Yeah, it looks like shit. Fuck, who's shooting at me?
Hey, they
But I
fixed the
have so much
fonts at
playing.
least.
I mean, it looks better than it was gonna look.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know, I've been meaning to. I need to start my Zangetsu playthrough. I almost did that tonight, but by the time like Megan and I finished dinner and stuff, it was close enough to the stream that I was like, I'm not gonna.
There's a lady hiding behind that desk.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
I
Look at all these golden
the lady hiding
chickens!
behind, I love the lady hiding behind the desk in this stage. She's a great touch.
I was gonna say, oh, we should do simultaneous streams next week of you starting Zangetsu and me starting Randomizer.
I don't know if I want to wait until.
Actually, yeah, I'm not gonna wait either. I'm gonna finish my playthrough in another day or two, and I'm absolutely not gonna wait to start Randomizer.
RhinoNar14 says that looks like fun. I assume he's talking about the game we're playing, which is Streets of Rage 4, which is fun.
It's good. It's a pretty good one of those.
I think it's honestly, now don't get mad, Joe, but I think this is gonna be like Blazing Chrome for me, and then I'm gonna spend 3 hours with it. I'm gonna enjoy that time, then I'm gonna forget it ever existed.
I really need to go back to Blazing Chrome and like master the harder difficulties. I keep.
I want to play as this lady.
Yeah,
snake lady?
I like the snake lady.
The snake flamethrower.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a snake taser, and sometimes it's a snake poison spray, and sometimes it's a snake flamethrower.
Oh, this is the boss. Okay, I thought these were just creative enemies.
She's the boss of the first level, I think, right?
Oh, but now there's 2 of them.
Yes.
Yeah. They have
Yeah,
different
I've
hair
seen them.
color, also.
Now there's 2 of them.
I mean,
That's
that's
the
kind of
classic Streets of Rage. Yeah, I guess most beat 'em ups, but definitely Streets of Rage does that thing where it's like, well, what if now you fight 2 of them?
One's blue.
Hey, you like video games, right?
I've
Yeah.
heard video games.
Video games are pretty good. Speaking of stuff that we were talking about, stuff that isn't coming out this year and stuff that we want to come out this year, Eric, have you heard anything about the Cuphead DLC? Because I feel like that was supposed
No. I thought it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah. And, man, I want more
I don't know.
Cuphead.
You know what? Just they put out when they're ready. I ain't
Yeah,
even
I
gonna
mean,
worry about
that's
it.
true. That's true. I definitely don't want them to rush it. I just.
Yeah, I don't
They
want
took
any
a
Russian
long time on that
Cupheads.
game, didn't they?
Nice guitar slam. Yeah, it took them a long time to put the game out. So,
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It is.
can
like,
you play
super
as the
labor.
boxing kangaroo that keeps showing up, or
I think you can play as the Streets of Rage 3 version of the boxing kangaroo, I believe, but I don't know if the.
Because he's like bar. He's tending bar. There's a picture of him in this level.
I like the
These
Picasso.
from Streets of Rage 3, they're like referencing.
I know, but I want to know if you could play as him.
Are there any other modern art characters in this game, or is it only the retro ones? Y Tower. Is this the last level?
I don't know.
Looks
No,
like 2 more.
I kind of wonder if they're gonna put out DLC or something that adds more of the modern art characters.
Is it ice physics in this level?
Like I said, there is modern art of Max in this game, and it would be cool to play as him. You know,
I don't know that a belt scroller action game needed ice physics.
Yeah, why? We're inside of a sauna anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, there's steam. This floor slippery. It's steam.
Yeah, it's steam physics.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Dude, you know when you step out of the shower, if you don't have a bath mat down, you never slipped on the tile floor? In your
No,
bathroom?
I mean, yes, I've slipped on a wet floor, but not like slid across it like it was
Well,
a sheet of ice.
Eric has never taken a
enough.
shower. The secret to his powers.
I mean, well, but anyways, this scene, this,
One time I fell in a Wendy's bathroom because the floor was all wet, but
Oh, there's a character. Oh my god.
that's not the same as ice, though.
No, it's not the same as ice. So we played this when Alex and I played this.
They gave me a free hamburger.
I feel like
For
this.
falling in the bathroom?
Yeah. Yeah, good deal, right?
Was it a baconator?
No, it's just a regular hamburger, I think.
This
Just the girl at the counter was just like, put it in my bag.
Music
that
from
a
like a JRPG
euphemism?
or something from the Famicom? What is this?
Yeah, I don't know what this music
I liked
is.
it, Kurt. I don't think anybody ever heard
Thanks.
that.
Appreciate it. I feel like Alex is the only buddy.
I can't hear
one
the
picking
music.
up what I'm laying down.
Are you guys on the retro soundtrack?
snickered
or
about
on the
something.
modern?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the choices are a little weird.
Yeah.
I haven't played with the retro soundtrack yet. Apparently, though, some of the I've heard that like Master System versions of some of the songs are in there, so that might be what you're hearing now.
Yeah, this is a little weird.
Even
Why
though
isn't
I
it just the fucking Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack?
Yeah, right.
You have the perfect soundtrack. Just use that.
Yeah.
So I played through this scene and I was like, this feels like it was very like clearly inspired by the last fight in Eastern Promises. So I watched the end fight in Eastern Promises, and that's
Nobody's
still like
naked.
a really good fight scene, by the way, if you're curious. It still holds
A
up.
bunch of naked people in a sauna or what?
It's
Yeah.
just one. No, it's not a bunch.
I mean, it's not a bunch, but
It's one naked dude in a sauna fighting. Dudes come to kill him while he's in the sauna, and he fights them off. And if you ever wanted to see Viggo Mortensen's dong while he like punches people to death, that's the movie for you.
and if you didn't, that's still
Then,
exists.
I mean, what if I didn't know I wanted that?
well, then you should watch the last fight from Eastern Promises and figure it out. I guess.
It's an enjoyable movie aside from that as well. So
Yeah, I mean it's a good movie overall, but like that's a really
that
well
fight is real good. Yeah.
fight scene that feels like it's not
It's
like
got
it's not a
impact.
cool fight scene. Yeah, right. It's like a gross.
I don't think I even know what that movie is.
It was the Cronenberg movie after History of Violence, also starring Viggo Mortensen.
I don't think I know it.
Actually,
Oh no, I've seen A History of Violence, I think.
History of Violence is the one where he plays a guy who owns a cafe and like gangsters show up and he kills them when they try to rob his cafe.
That movie's okay. Oh.
Turns into a
I didn't
thing.
really like it.
Yeah, people went crazy for that, but it doesn't have enough
Yeah.
like weird flesh monsters in it. So
I mean, I can only really think of the one.
Viggo Mortensen, that's not very nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Or Ed Harris. But yeah, Eastern Promises was kind of a follow-up. It was another. It's not a body horror in the traditional sense,
In the traditional Cronenbergian sense.
right? But there definitely is some level of body horror happening in that.
Does he turn into a fly?
No.
Does he have sex while crashing a car?
No.
Then I'm fucking out, dude.
That's a good ass movie too, though.
Is there a bone gun?
Does he create all kinds of weird ass gynecological instruments?
Yeah.
how many pieces are there on the walls?
Does he have a vagina in his back? A weird sex hole in his back?
Or in his
It's
front?
It's just a crime movie.
Oh.
Just a crime movie.
Yawn.
Boring.
Mortensen do like a really shitty accent, so that's good.
There are some really, I mean, there's definitely some like gross violence in it, but not like James Spader putting a VHS tape into his stomach, you know, or anything
James
like that.
Woods.
I
Or,
don't
yeah.
like these guys because
Sorry,
Spader in a
not James
crash.
Spader fucking in a car crash, or
I
James
just
Woods
the
putting a
the
VHS
secret is just walk up to them and just grab them when they're in that stance. Whoops.
Yeah, if they're doing a stance, they will counterattack anything you do. You have to grab them or wait for them to
I
stop.
feel like this is a good Streets of Rage song playing now.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. That stage is good.
Or,
How
yeah,
does
or
it
hit 'em
rank in the
behind.
pantheon of video game elevator levels?
I mean, I like that you can
Better-
smash the windows out kind of like slowly in this one. This is pretty good. I like it.
Better or worse than the one in Gang Beasts?
Oh,
Well,
Gang Beast is obviously the best beat 'em up that exists.
I'm not gonna.
Gang Beast is dope.
I'm not taking that bait, Alex.
It's not bait, it's fact.
Don't worry, Mike, I got this.
show me how it's done.
Yeah, I have half a health bar, so.
That guy looks pumped.
Was it like he's coming?
He's
All the time. Hello.
Max. Is he allowed to do a spinning?
I like how he just kind of stands back and breathes some
Probably
fire
break
and comes
that
running
barrel,
at
Eric.
you without really doing much of anything else.
I gotta say, this dude is supremely non-threatening so far.
Yeah, he's not.
He does like a lot of damage if he gets you, though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But yeah, I really would like him to be playable at some point
Why would you say that?
Streets Rage 3 or
because Streets of Rage 2.
was he?
He's the tank in Streets of Rage 2.
I never take tank characters, so
He's so good though. You can like do a jumping choke slam with him in Streets of Rage 2, which is.
I'm guessing he's possessed right now or brainwashed because he's
You
got
haven't
red
been
eyes.
paying attention to the story, Mike.
That's correct.
They've made shitty dance music that brainwashes
Ugh.
anybody who hears it.
Well, I think that might just be it for Streets of Rage
It's
4
fine.
tonight. I
That game's
I'm
okay.
going to chicken out. Bark.
All right, well, I think we'll call it a thing there then.
But yeah, it's a fine game. It's a fine game to pay for free if you have Game Pass.
I think it's a fine game to pay the $23 or whatever. Well, it was 10% off when I bought it for like the new on Steam sale, but it's probably worth $25.
Probably worth 25 or 18.
I think it's 25.
Anyway, yeah, it's all right. It's decent fun.
All right,
That's all I have to say.
that's all I have to say.
That's all they
I
have to
liked
say.
it also.
All right, well, that's it. We'll be back
Have to say.
some other day with some other something. Good night.